Looks like Tom. Is that Vandiver?
Yeah, this is Tom. Yeah, this is Tom. I'm here.
How are you, Tom?
Great. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks. Hello?
There's an echo when people speak.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody's got their.
It's coming from a number ending in 2871.
Is it still there?
I think it's gone now. Perfect.
Well, Tim's trying to get in, but he says nobody's there.
Ah, must be an old link.
That's what I'm. Let me see if I can screenshot a picture of it or something.
Can I ask you to just join the call?
It's me, Richard.
Hey, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing great, Davis. Yourself?
Doing just fine.
Good. Everybody joining in yet or no?
So far, it's Julie, Tom, Dee, Paul, and myself. I think that's everybody. We still have a few minutes.
Oh yeah, it's only 6:26. Okay. Davis, did you get that sign-in sheet?
I do have the sign-in sheet. I do have
good.
the
I just want to make sure you got it.
And I have it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It was we have a pretty good number of signatures here, so I'm glad we had it.
How many people did we have? Do you know?
I can give you, let me see here, 20, 40, 60.
Julie, Davis will give you the official count. I counted the room twice and got 85 both times, but I don't think everyone signed in.
Wow. Okay.
So I have 80 people signed in.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, 81 people.
Okay.
Yeah, 81. A couple of people signed in as, husband and wife.
Husband and wife.
Just in a single place. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. We got Tim yet?
Just joined. Hello?
Good evening. This is Lauren Morales.
Hey, Lauren. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
me give Tim the phone number to call.
I'm trying to add him.
And I think Gerard said he's going to be running a little bit late.
Hello?
Think someone joined?
Mark's up.
Hey, Mark.
Hey,
Evening, Mark.
how's everything going?
We're just glad to have. Hello? Can I ask who just joined?
Tim's here.
Hey, Taylor.
Hey guys. Just me and you on video?
I guess.
Man, nobody wants to.
Our pretty
I'll
faces.
join the. I can join the party.
I normally do that, but I can't tonight. So sorry about that.
Where are you driving to?
How'd you know?
Dude, come on. You always know when somebody's on the car phone.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to start the meeting or should we give him a few? I know Gerard's going to be late. He just didn't know how late. So
I will say right now I have you, Julie. I have Tom, Tim, Mark. I have D Judge. I have Richard, myself, Paul, Lauren, and Taylor. Is anyone else on the call?
It's Tom.
Just get one more.
No,
I thought somebody just came in.
Yeah, somebody did just join.
If someone would please. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, okay. I see Robert McElroy.
You got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Take it away.
All right. We're going to call the meeting to order of the River Plantation MUD Board of Directors on April 22nd at 6:32 p.m. First order of business tonight is to confirm the meeting minutes of the Board of Directors on, let's start with the ones on January 28th. Has everybody looked at them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Any questions, any comments on the minutes from January 28th? Any corrections?
Not from Tim. No.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 28th?
Tim will make a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second. Mark.
Okay. All in favor?
Tim, aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Okay. Julie, aye. That's 4 ayes. Okay. The minutes of February 4th are next. Do we have any comments, questions, corrections?
yeah, I think I was at that meeting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tom's name is
Tom
missing.
is missing off that meeting. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So I don't see how you got a quorum on the next page without me being there.
Yep, he
So,
was at
Tom?
that meeting, so he was missing off of there. Okay. All right. Any other corrections that need to be made to that one? Okay. Do we want to approve them with that correction being made? Or do we want to?
I would do that, Julie, so you can move on and get it on
Yeah.
the website.
I hate to
Yeah.
keep pushing it back. Okay. Do I have a motion to
Right.
accept to approve the February 4th minutes?
I move we approve it as amended.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Mark will second.
All right. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Tom, I.
Tim, aye.
Julie, aye. Okay. All right.
And-
February 25th minutes. Any questions, comments, corrections?
None that I see.
Do I have a motion to accept the February 25th minutes?
Tim makes a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Mark seconds.
Okay. All in favor?
Tom, I.
Tim,
Julie,
aye.
aye. Do I have Tim and Mark?
Tim, aye. Mark, aye.
Okay.
I got it right here.
It says approve the April minutes, but I don't have the April minutes. Does anybody have the April minutes?
Negative. I do. Nope.
You do have the
They
April
were-
minutes?
They were on the 15 April message from Stephanie.
Go upstairs, I'll listen to it. I'm taking it home.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick then.
And now that you could we need you real friendly. We can't keep on eating fucking junk.
Can we mute whoever that is?
Quickly.
It was on the which one, Mark?
15 April, January, February, March, April, from Stephanie. It had a whole bunch of attachments, and I have the April 1st and the April 8th. Wow, that one slipped by me.
I was going to say, I don't even have one of those in my email. Let me see. Oh, I sure do see it. There it is. Okay, let me see.
I thought it would be helpful just because there were several sets of minutes to go ahead
Sure.
and send all of them out to give everybody a chance to make any comments that they had in advance. And I'll just say always, if you notice a correction or an error or something like that, please let us know and we're happy to go ahead and make that change. So.
Okay. Okay.
I will
The
make
only
a-
thing. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There
George.
on the April 1st one, again, we've left Tom off. I think
And
Tom was-
they show me present. I was not present.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve those with those corrections being made?
Mark
Tim
will
makes
make
a motion.
Okay, Mark's going to make the motion that we accept those minutes. Tim, you want to second it?
Tim seconds.
Okay. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Tom, I.
Tim, aye.
Julie, aye. Okay. All right, April 8th minutes. Mark, were you there on that one?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. April 8th minutes. Is everybody looking at them? Has everybody found them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have them.
All right. April 8th minutes. Any corrections? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the April 8th minutes then?
I move we approve April 8th.
Okay, do I have a second?
Tim, second.
All right, all in favor?
Mark, I.
Tim, I.
Okay, Julie, I do not have the April 19th minutes.
That's correct.
Okay.
The meeting, the minutes from 2 days ago, we
Oh.
put them on the agenda, but they're not ready yet.
That's okay. I didn't realize that was 2 days ago. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought about sending them to y'all, but I thought maybe it would just asking people to review them immediately might be too much to ask. So I thought we'd just wait till next month.
Got it. I appreciate that. So, all right. The next matter is receive comments from the public.
Okay, Julie, this is Dee. I have a comment about your minutes of December the 17th.
Okay.
We had that vote and it was for allowing the district's attorney to move forward with the preliminary framework of the Charleston settlement. There are no names mentioned as far as who voted no. There was only one no vote, and that was Gerard. And I think that should be listed in the minutes.
Okay. All right. Davis, can we make that correction?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Do you have anything else, Dee?
Nope, for that one, I'm
Okay.
ready for the comments.
And
Oh, that's
I
what
don't
we're
know
doing
that we
is
have.
comments.
I don't know that we have those minutes. I don't know if I have them in Word. But Richard, you have them, don't you?
I think I do. Yeah, I'm gonna pull them up right now.
I think we're on comments, Dee. So if you want to keep going, if you got comments.
Okay, I understand Gerard's not here, and I'm not sure if he will be here, but I did have some comments related to his discussion there over at the town hall. I found two errors. I'd like to bring those to his attention. He can listen to the video or the audio, whatever. But he was elected on November the 12th, being for the park. I mean, that's how he campaigned. And then a month later, he is voting no for this particular motion. And it's just to allow the district's attorney to move forward with this framework on the settlement. And I mean, it couldn't have been easier. And he mentioned, no, he didn't. He voted no because there was something else going on there. Well, you can look at the minutes and see there was nothing. It was very specific to the park. Okay, now on the bond issue. Now he had his chance to present his case at every board meeting, and certainly you have differences, but his ideas were not accepted by the majority, but he still went against the majority. Now the majority had more experience and knowledge than he did, but I still go back, as I mentioned, to his personal agenda. He was concerned about his taxes, his house, his valuation, and not what was best for the district. Now, nobody has all these numbers ready for a meeting unless that's their focus. Then he went, public, trying to sabotage this bond election. He is only, I don't know if everybody knows, he's only been on the board for 5 months. And prior to that, he only attended very few meetings in the past couple of years. So he doesn't really, his knowledge is limited, certainly. But he also mentioned that he worked with the engineer and took a virtual tour. Now, I did call Taylor because I was curious as to what he saw so I could better understand where he was coming from. But he never had a virtual tour. He had a phone conversation. But I understand he is going to have a tour of the projects maybe next week or so. But even if he had a virtual tour, I would have been against that because I think you need to be on the ground, looking at each project, listening, asking questions, and getting the complete picture. So you're working on an agenda here that didn't benefit the district. So I'm still going to remind everybody, you're a governmental agency. Meetings are recorded. Everything is documented. And you can't come out with these falsehoods and think you can fool everybody, because it's all going to come out. Everything is documented. I mean, the truth is the truth, and that's what we need on this. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dee.
This is Mark. Can I make a quick comment?
Sure.
Okay, and Dee, there's a lot going on here, but I just want to emphasize that you can be for the park, but be against this bond issue if you think it's not the right bond issue. You can be for Proposition A, believe that we need the bond issue, but be against the amount, what it's being used for, or how it came about. So the rest of the stuff about the virtual tours, I'm not sure about, but I think people are forgetting that we can be for a bond, but not this bond. And just because a 3-2 for this bond doesn't mean that everybody on the board has the rah-rah and be behind this bond. I mean, we said our part, he said his part. I agree with what he says a lot. I agree with Jack brought across. So once it's voted in, I will be behind it 100% and work very hard. But just because we're against Proposition A or Proposition B doesn't mean we're against the park or fixing our problems. Now, if the people vote in Proposition A and Proposition B, we will work very hard to make it work and do everything that's required. But just because it is what's there now doesn't mean that we have to be for it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do, Mark, but I guess what I don't get is, I mean, everybody's got differences of opinion. Excuse me. The thing is, he went vocal on it. Why he did not go along with the board. And the thing is, the reason I'm sorry?
His opinion is my opinion.
I know, but you said you didn't
with
say
the
anything.
amount of money. I'm for repairing and fixing the problem we have, but doesn't mean we're necessarily this Proposition A or Proposition B. Once it's voted in, then we will be 100%.
Oh, okay. You're talking about when it's voted in by the people. You're not talking about when it's voted in by the board.
Correct.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, my two problems with this was he gave kind of false information on both those items. That's what I do not like. If you're going to say something, just be truthful.
Right.
He said
100% behind that.
Well, that was my point of bringing it up today, because of those two items that were incorrect.
Okay. Are we good? You good, Dee?
We're good.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Who
you.
else?
Sure.
Anyone else from the public want to make a comment?
Yes, this is Robert McElroy. I'd like to make a comment.
3 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Dee, I don't think you had 3 minutes, so don't try to cut me off. Okay. So first thing is Jack Kurtzinger prepared his approach to an estimates by year and how much it would cost to do the work that's been identified. And he put it in an envelope. He had 5 envelopes and asked it to be distributed to each board member. He asked me to check with you folks. Did any of the board member get those envelopes with his estimates?
Every board
Mark
member
did.
got them.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
Julie,
That's good to hear.
Julie
Okay.
made sure we got it.
Okay, thank you. So you have a 41-year registered professional engineer who gives his approach on that.
He's a petroleum engineer, but
He's
okay.
also he also has a chemical engineering degree too.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing I've been looking at the legal fees, and in total for the last 5 years plus 5 months, we spent $454,000 in legal fees. The normal amount, like if I went back to 2015, I saw $500 a month for $6,000. Okay.
Can I
Okay.
tell you, can I stop you right there, Robert,
Go
and
ahead.
interrupt you
Sure.
for
Go
just a
ahead.
second? Sure. First of all, the attorneys we had before Smith Murdaugh were just like Blyle Engineering. They were not allowed to come to the meetings. They were forbidden from coming to the meetings. That's why the fees were so low. Plus, if you look in the last couple of years, we've had a lot of activity going on. We've had Charleston. We've been put on notice 3 times, if I remember correctly, by the RPCIA to fix things. We've now got the bond election. We've had a lot of things going on. And if you want to go there, Jack Kurtzinger was president for most of those years. He's only been past president for 6 months.
That's fine. I understand that. I'm just saying the expenses are we establishing a new norm for what we do with our money in this? We just don't have that kind of money to spend all the time on legal fees. So here again, whenever you mention, Julie, that Charleston costs 500 and 500 plus, 511, we got a good deal. Okay. Maybe we did, if that's what it is. But if you add in the legal fees, that's what I'm asking. There's been no tracking done on legal fees associated with Charleston Park. So that money that's plus the 511 be put back in reserve.
Robert, you're more than welcome to go sit down at the MUD building and add up all the fees.
Well, if it's worth, if there's any benefit to it, you've got to declare the bond and what you're going to do with the money. I don't do that just to be doing something, but I imagine it's being quite expensive. So that's the way I would look at it from a accounting approach. And while I was there, maybe I would look and find out what Jubal Early cost, because I noticed in your presentation, you didn't have any money there.
Yes, it did. It was $116,000.
Oh, the one I saw when I was looking at it, I didn't see any money on it. So it looked like blank to me. I didn't see it in your slide. So if you got it, that's great. But that's what you made it. You've presented it, stated it. That's good. So that's what I saw. Also, with the engineering report that was online, the engineering presentation, Julie, recall that we were talking about sinkholes, and you said there are no sinkholes in here.
No, I did not say there were no sinkholes. I can show you pictures of sinkholes. I'm the one that brought the sinkholes to the board's attention.
I know. That's why I was trying to find out. Are these old sinkholes or new ones that exist?
Oh, well, just hang on for a little bit, Robert.
Sure.
Be enlightened tonight.
Sure. That's why I'm here. Okay. And the next question has to do with the point that I wanted to make in the meeting before was the amount of money the homeowner would be out. If you adopted the approach of $110 additional water bill, and you would capture by 2033, you would capture $13.6 million. Okay. And therefore that would cover all your engineering cost, because you don't have the 12% BAR cost that the engineer puts in his work plan. So I'm saying we should wait a couple of years or a year anyway and pull that money out of the bond and put it into a fund to pay for this thing cash as you go. Because I really don't feel like we should be paying better than twice. Well, if we collected on $138,000 on a $180,000 home, you'd be collecting $38,000 in taxes if you took that approach. And I'm trying to save money, and that's what I think we need to do is look at what it's going to cost us. And to say we deny ourselves for a year or 2 years, if you've ever done any activity with budgeting and saving, that's your opportunity to do it. And teachers community, that's what we're all about. Where most of us, I hope, one reason I moved in here, My wife looked around and says, this looks like this is a Republican conservative place. And right now, the way I look at it, are we thinking because the federal government's going hog wild with debt that we, MUD district, can print this money and get away with it? No, we can't. We're going to be paying for it long time, out to 2052 and 2058.
Robert,
Go ahead, Julie.
You're going to find out in a minute. We don't have 4, 5, 6 years to wait. Just sit back and wait. We don't
Well,
have
I'm
that
not
much
saying
time.
wait. I did not say wait 4, 5, 6 years. You've got 1.5. You've got nearly $1 million, I bet, or $750,000 sitting there in that new bond B that if it gets approved, that would move in, and you could start to move forward and start collecting July 1st, starting to collect increased water fees. You build up that
Mr.
campaign
McElroy,
fund. Go ahead.
if I could,
Sure.
we're 25 minutes into the meeting.
Okay.
Just
I hope I matched D.
some...
I tried to match D at the time she took. So maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Maybe next time I'll get a better chance. So that's my
Okay.
points. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen.
All right. Is
Thanks
there
so
anybody
much.
else from the public that would like to make a comment?
Hi, this is Suzanne Courier. Can you
Hey,
hear me?
Suzanne. Yep.
Okay, I missed the first couple of minutes of the meeting. My computer crashed. Is this just an open question on what we've had so far? Is that how this is going?
You can ask whatever question you want, as long as it pertains to the MUD.
Okay. I remember hearing, I don't remember which meeting it was in, but we were talking about violations. And we had to pay for violations. I believe it was to the state. What was that all about? Could you kind of reiterate on that?
Yeah, so I believe, was it the last meeting, Taylor, that we had found out, the last monthly meeting?
Yeah.
We had found out that there were 4 violations, that we were in violation of TCEQ for releasing water that had too much, I believe it was ammonia. Is that what it was?
That's
too
correct.
much ammonia into the San Jacinto. I will tell you, I had received a certified letter today from TCEQ that shows we actually had 11 violations from January of 2020 through January of 2021. And they were self-reported violations. So we need to get a better handle on what's happening here. They have the one that they were addressing in the letter today, they have stated it has been cleared up, but I don't like seeing that we've had 11 violations in 12 months. Second of all, Richard, who has been informed of these violations?
Well, I get the letters. Like I said, I used to open them. Most of them are not, I mean, they're violations. If you want, it depends on how you want to term violations. They're alleged, and then they'll tell you you're out of compliance or something. You go back and look at it, and you get it cleared up, and then it's fine after that. But they're still recorded. I mean, understandably.
So
what's the
average? What's the average number of violations most MUDs get a year?
Well, it depends on the MUD. I've seen a lot of them, and I've seen other ones that are not. So it just depends.
Okay. Davis or Jeff or Taylor, do any of you guys know what the average violations is?
I don't think there's an average. I mean, I've got districts that get 2 or 3 a year. As Richard said, a lot of them don't have any. Usually, when you're getting them, if they're repeated, it's because you're having one specific problem, and you may have several months in a row. So I don't think we can say there's a real average to anything. It's sort of site specific, but
so is 11
anytime you have more than you start getting 2 or 3 months in a row is when they start really taking a look at you.
Right.
And as Richard said, it depends. When you get it, you respond as to what happened or what the issue was, and in the beginning, they'll a lot of times say, okay, we understand, you've taken care of it. It's the repeated issues that become a problem.
So Richard, are all the violations, or all the, whatever you want to call them, all the violations for the same thing?
No, they're different things. And the ones that we get them repeatedly, like month after month, is when we had equipment down, when we were doing the upgrades and the other plant was overloaded. But I mean, that's just a unique thing. And once I told them what it was, they said, okay. And that's, you know, as long as you, like you said, as long as you respond to them and everything, you're all right.
Okay, so can I make a request that I see copies of those violation letters that we've gotten for the past year? I just curious what they are.
Yeah, no problem. I have them in the file.
Okay. 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 Thanks, Suzanne. Do you have anything else?
That's it for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else from the public have a question or a comment or a statement?
Nothing.
Or no one else from the public wants to make a comment or anything? All right, I'm going to close public comments then. The next item on the agenda is the engineer's report. Robert, you got a seat?
Hey guys, it's Taylor. You guys all got my report. There's nothing on it right now. I did get a call from Richard. I sent out an email regarding a 40 or a sinkhole that has been recurring. And Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, at least a year or two, and has now become a little more frequent of an issue. I gave Richard 2 more contractors to solicit 3 bids because he believes it's going to be over $25,000. But what I would say is that I think we should take this opportunity to televise that entire line in the backyards. It's approximately 700 linear feet. In the past, when we've done something like this and larger jobs, normally the cost of televising a line such as that is $1.25 a linear foot. I reached out to my contact at MagnaFlow and he was out, so I didn't get a number for him specifically. I don't know who Richard normally uses, but I would recommend that the board approve some sort of limit on that cost to be able to do that line. And what I would recommend is say a number not to exceed $5,000. And I don't think it'll come close to 5,000, but just to make sure that it gets done, gets televised, we can review the video prior to putting another Band-Aid fix out there for a repetitive event.
This gives us the first good chance to look and see just what the interior of these lines are looking like. You know, maybe it is just one point repair, and then we need to go in and dig it up and replace a piece of pipe, but it could be something more severe where the entire run is in danger. And you know, we made a lot of estimates, or Taylor's made a lot of estimates on storm sewer repairs. We've done that with, you know, the best information available, but like I said, this would give us our first shot to go in, look at a known problem and see what that pipe looks like on the inside.
Especially with it being in people's backyards. That's never a good thing, especially a large line like 48 inch. If you have kids, animals, or something like that, and somebody falls into it, you just don't know how it's going to progress and how fast it's going to occur. We've all seen the news media stories of large sinkholes happening. And I'm not saying anything's going to happen of that size, but you get a 24-inch sinkhole that occurs, you know, at 4 foot, 5 foot of depth. That'll take a dog or a kid down real fast. So it really needs to be something that's addressed, not on a Band-Aid fix, but a more permanent fix.
And like Taylor said, if Richard's got a guy who he uses for some of the televising, that's fine. If he doesn't, we've got some names of people that we use.
We just want to be able to see the video and assess the problem in a full capacity.
Okay.
Yeah, Taylor MagnaFlow is who I use too.
Okay, perfect, great.
Okay.
Yeah, so we tried to call Bear today, but he's evidently out, maybe with COVID.
So, hey, Richard, how come you didn't notify the board when you found this problem today?
Well, this is another one of those lines that's on the list to be repaired, and you know, we did a patch on it, and it's over a year ago since we've touched that line. But like Taylor's saying, you know, some of these lines are, especially when they're in the backyard like that, I think we need to get this one fixed. Even if we just went manhole to manhole to get her yard out of danger, you know, that's why I'm bringing it up, and that's why I said, well, I need to get estimates on it. So I can tell you right now, it's going to be over 25,000.
Okay. Well, my question is, how come we had to find out from an email from Taylor that we had this problem? A 48-inch sinkhole is, in my opinion, a problem that the board should have been made aware of.
Well, it's not a 48-inch sinkhole. It's a 48-inch line. The hole was not that big. We filled it in. But I'm trying to stay ahead of it because of the safety factors. Taylor said in people's backyard. I don't really want that.
So it's caused by the pipe, a hole in the pipe, or collapsing of the pipe?
It's caused by the bottom of the pipe starting to rust out. Yes. And those are the ones that I was talking about that I was going to say we need to CIPP.
Okay, I'm trying to picture this in my mind. So you got a pipe that's got a hole in the bottom of it.
Yes.
And a sinkhole on the top of it opens up.
Right. The bottom of the pipe's rusted out, so as the water flows, it creates a bunch of suction and it undermines everything around it, and the ground comes in.
Okay.
But it's usually really where the hole is. Like you said, we might be able to do a point repair on that one. Okay. But, I'd just as soon go from one manhole to the other and get rid of, do the whole line and take care of it.
But you're saying that sinkhole is not 48 inches deep?
No, it wasn't that deep, no.
No, it's a 48-inch storm sewer. I'm saying that it could turn into, depending on how bad the pipe is, once the water starts going through it, water's going to travel the path of least resistance. And so
it's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse. And we've got rain coming Friday. We're not going to be able to get it fixed Friday, but it can turn into a really bad scenario if you get a heavy rain flow over the top of it and it just drops. These sinkholes happen very fast. They may start as a pinhole and end up, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but I really don't like to play around with sinkholes.
We just want to find out the whole problem and get a permanent solution.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
So
Julie, is this the one I mentioned to you?
No, this is a totally different one, Robert, but close to that, probably a block away from that one. Oh, Robert, hey, while you're out there, Taylor, I don't know if you're going to meet the guys from MagnaFlow or Richard's going to meet them, whoever's going to meet them. Robert actually told me about another one. Actually, it's probably on the same line. Now that I think about it, it may be on the same line. Down in, is it Augusta Park or Atlanta Park?
Probably be Augusta Park. It's turn left after.
Not the one across from my house.
It's Georgina. It's Georgianne. That's just all I know right now. I have to go look. I'll get you address.
Yeah. I really didn't want to use anybody's names, but
that's a wrong name. That's what Burnett called.
We do need to note that if you guys are having conversations with people that have sinkholes, with us not understanding completely where all the storm sewers are in the district, if people are having sinkholes occur in their backyards with these backyard storm sewers, they really need to contact Richard so that the mud's not liable at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Hey, Taylor, remember that one we walked around that backyard and we couldn't find it because it had been filled in? Mm-hmm. It's that backyard. It's opened up again.
Gotcha.
And I think if you look at it, it's probably right on that line.
It may be. I think I know where. Yeah. I think that's pretty close to where we were at.
I didn't even put two and two together till he just said
I actually was thinking about that today when we were talking.
You might want to consider putting something on the website, right? Asking people to notify you or send an email or something like that of sinkholes. I mean, obviously, I would assume there's probably more traffic there now than normal. So I don't know what the best way to do that is, but
well, the best way is for them to call the office so we can get it on record. We get a lot of calls, but they're later because they've called the CIA rather than the MUD. So I've got to make sure they call the MUD office so I can go look at it that day. Now, on the back of Augusta, we've already lined one of them. There's a 48 behind there that I've already CIPP'd from one end to the other end. But there is a second line there. That's what I'm suspecting. I have to go look at it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm betting it's in that line, that straight line from that one house to the other house. And underneath that street.
Richard, I got a question for you. You mentioned that was on your list of things to go get done. Can we see your list of things that need to get done?
Well, I gave. I given Taylor
this list.
I gave Taylor the map of all the storm drains. So I don't have that anymore, but those are the ones I was outlining. Those are the main trunk lines that I think need to be repaired. That was the next phase of repairing them. From they start there and they go all the way across to the collection box, and then they go across the golf course over to the west ditch. Those all need to be CIPP'd. Because I can tell you without a camera right now, they're rusting out.
That doesn't really tell me anything other than we've got a problem there, and if you've got a list of specific tasks that need to get done like that, I'd like to see it.
I can put something together, but I really need that map back so I can look at the layout and dimension.
Another one's when you're there on Wednesday.
Yeah, Richard, I'll be delivering them next Wednesday, just for a heads up, and there should be a scanned copy, but I'll send you the specific one so you don't have to dig through all the scanned copies.
Hey, Richard, this is Mike Lee. I have a copy of that map, and I can bring that to you tomorrow.
That would be great.
I have a full copy of that map. I also have a big sinkhole in my backyard where the 48-inch line goes between my house and my neighbor's. I have not reported it, but it's a sinkhole that my neighbor showed me on one of the big lines, and one in my front yard.
That's a different line.
He's on the other side of River Plantation Drive, Taylor.
Right. Yeah. So that's a different line.
Yeah, it's a different line, right? But it's a different sinkhole too.
Well, depending on Richard, depending on, if you're going to use MagnaFlow and we're going to get them to do a little bit. I mean, I don't know what they normally charge you guys or whatever, but at $1.25 a linear foot, you're looking at a little over 1,000 for the 700 feet. It may be worthwhile to do a secondary line at a different location.
Once you got them mobilized and on site, it's might as well get a full day out of them.
Yeah,
that's correct. I agree with that.
All right, so do we need to vote?
Oh, I'm sorry, Richard, just if we've had a couple of people mention sinkholes that maybe you weren't aware of just now during this meeting, if there's a way to get people to report them, I think that just for a variety of reasons, I think that's a good idea to figure out how to encourage it. That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree that if they can get to the office here, then I can document it and then go look at it.
Yeah, maybe something in the water bills or on the website or something like that.
Right.
I think that I think that's the right thing to do because we need to know if we have a problem.
I thought we had something like that.
Jeff and Taylor, did you get those three? Did y'all get the three that we heard so far during this meeting, or do we need Richard to email the group?
A follow-up email would always be great, but I know where the first two are. The third one is on the other side of River Plantation. I believe I know where that is, but a specific location is always welcome.
I can go by tomorrow. I can go by tomorrow and get the address of that house where I saw it and give it to Richard.
If y'all will report that to Richard, and Richard, please tomorrow, so we don't lose a weekend on this, if you'll email Jeff and Taylor and BCC the board, and obviously copy the lawyer so we can keep this momentum.
Sure, no problem.
And are we still, I haven't seen the news tonight, but are we still supposed to get a heavy rain tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we need to watch it, Richard, and make sure we're not having any serious problems tomorrow with the rain.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, I'll go out there tomorrow anyway and check the other one out.
Richard, in the past, what we've done is just for precautionary purposes is throw some caution tape up under there. If you have some in the office, just throw, just to keep the residents' eye on it. I know they know where they're at and things like that, but just as a reminder for everybody that these need to be fixed, it's worthwhile to just kind of put that sort of tag on them.
Yeah, we have the tape and the fencing, so.
Perfect. Whichever's, if it's a deeper one, I would recommend some safety fencing. If it's a shallow one, just something to flag it, so that if I'm not saying anybody's going to forget or anything like that, but at least if the resident sees it, for a whole week and he doesn't think they're getting it addressed, he can reach back out to you and say, you know, are you guys doing anything? Just with this many, I don't want to lose track of any, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think that's a great idea because I used to spend time going up and down the alley, and that's what this is a clear easement between people's houses, and it's an open runway for kids to run up and down, and so I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Robert.
Okay, good deal.
All right, anything else?
Julie,
Taylor?
I do think it would be, best to have a vote just to, you know, authorize the engineers to start the preliminary work toward a repair plan on all that and to work with Richard and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve that the engineers can start working on shooting the lines and seeing what's going on and start maybe reassessing the work that needs to be done on the drain lines and that? And
put a number on that real quick. Just put a number on that to not to exceed 5,000, just in case for some reason the televising comes back more. So we just want to make sure that you guys are aware before spending too much money at the boards.
Sure. Well, it's kind of something we got to do. We don't really have a choice at this point.
And I understand that, but don't. I mean, no reason to do a blank check.
Right.
5,000 should be plenty to make sure that we
to evaluate it and come up with a plan.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve up to $5,000 for the engineers to work with Richard to get this?
Yeah, I'll make that motion this time.
Okay.
10 seconds.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Mark, aye. Tim, aye.
Julie, aye. Okay. All right. So we have
I also, I'd also like to make a comment to Robert. As much as we appreciate your support, I really suggest that you don't spend a lot of time out in the wilderness looking for sinkholes, because I don't want you falling into a sinkhole and having us be liable.
Yeah, I'll stay out of the alleys. I agree. I quit doing that. That's where I used to smoke.
Well, good. I'm glad you quit that. So
I quit smoking too.
All right. So, all right.
And remember, at $100 a month on the water bills, we can't fix them till 2030. So no walking back there.
No, wait a minute. You need to look at my numbers. Look at the numbers. It'll get 1.1 million right off the bat 1 year.
Yeah, but that's still 12 months, Robert. That's still 12 months.
And we got good credit with these guys.
We got
they'll let us ride.
So, all right, Taylor, did you discuss your capital improvement plan, or is that next?
You're muted, Taylor.
First time that's ever happened. No, we haven't made any changes to the capital improvements plan. It was the same as presented. If you guys have any further questions regarding it, let me know. That's all I got.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I got a question. If we want to, I want to get on the next meeting, if possible, a discussion on well one, and see if we can't revisit that. Is that be part of what you're talking about?
Tom, we can certainly do that. Do you have any time tomorrow to talk on the phone about it? And let's talk about your thoughts and let me pick your brain a little bit. And then I'll let Davis know that we need to, that I'll include it as part of my engineer's report to discuss after that. We don't need to put a specific item, but we'll just put it into the engineer's report, if that works for you.
Yeah, that works for me. I just, from what I know right now, I'm not in favor of dismantling it at $130,000.
No, I completely understand, but I'd like to talk to you a little more in detail about it, and I understand your point of view, but.
That's fine. You give me a call, or I can call you, whatever.
Yeah, I'll shoot you an email tonight, and it'll have my contact information, or most of my emails have my cell number. Just feel free to just call me whenever you're free tomorrow, and let's just talk about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, so Taylor, are you taking Gerard on did you tell Dee you're taking Gerard on a tour?
Yes, we
Monday?
scheduled for Wednesday.
Hey, Tom. I don't think you've been on one either.
No, not with him. I've been on the one with Richard.
Yeah, I think you need to go on one with Taylor.
We're doing Tom, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
Okay. All right. Number 5, review the financial and bookkeeping matters, the bookkeeper's reports. Okay. Do we have any questions on the bookkeeper's report?
Negative.
I actually have a question, Richard. What was the capital expense that we did last month? Capital expenditure?
I think that was the, let me see if I could find it and I can answer it a little bit better. I think it was the last thing for the wastewater plant. But it was the final bill that I gotten from Belial, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find it so I can see that amount, then I'll know better.
It's $26,320.
Oh, that was the final payment for the Jubal Early drainage ditch.
Okay. I thought last month was the final one, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was. The 26,000 was the last one. That was.
Okay. So did Jubal Early come in at more than 116?
No, it was exactly at 116.
Okay.
That was the retainage and all that other stuff.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Richard, does the board not see the pay estimates or anything on those projects?
It's part of the checks when they sign them. Yes. It's right on the check, the pay estimate and everything.
So I guess I'm the only one that sees them then.
Yes.
Okay. I just thought
that's only because.
But also I don't see them until after this meeting.
Right. I was gonna say in a normal meeting they'd all see them before because they could glance through them as they're signing the checks. But right now, because Julie's the only one signing them, she don't see them till the next day.
And that's not true, Richard, because even in a regular meeting, we don't sign checks till the end.
That's true. You're right.
Just that might be helpful just to include those as part of a report or something like that. I just on big projects like that, they're generally pretty informative to the board members to really have an understanding of what's been completed.
Right. Normally they would see them because you're right. You get your pay estimates and that's what's listed on it. Pay estimate 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's listed the balances.
But we don't normally see it until after we've already finished up the meeting and approved the bookkeeper's report. So maybe we need to rethink that order we do it in. So just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You could put payment of district bills first.
Yeah, then I think we'd lose our entire audience. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we normally do when like projects are going on and stuff, we can always present them in our report for payment. If they're coming through us, so whenever we start getting projects going kind of under our kind of contract or construction management phase, we'll present pay applications in our report for approval with the details.
So they'll appear in both the bookkeeper and ours, but we always show them on our reports.
Right.
If we're involved in
it. Just as a side note, I mean, I don't, I spend my days in these meetings and I don't have any other board meetings where the board doesn't see all the pay.
All right. I like that. I like that idea that we see it either with the checks when we're signing them in the meeting or something in Taylor's report maybe that we could see so we can get a better idea of what we're spending on these projects.
Because normally what you have is, when you see it from an engineer, you'll have not only the pay application have a recommendation.
You're cutting out, Davis.
Oh, I am. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, we can
Because
now.
what I was saying is normally you would have not only the request from the contractor, but a recommendation on whether or not it should be paid, right? So it's not unusual for a contractor to ask.
Davis, we can't hear you.
Yep.
Julie, this is Jeff. While Davis is having trouble there, when we present pay applications, we have a cover letter recommending payments that's
Okay.
attached to the contractor's request for payment. And what we include is where it's to be paid from. Right now, you only have operating, but if you had bond funds, WFD, or bond funds for rec bonds, we would include which fund for it to be paid from to help the bookkeeper know where that payment comes from.
Okay.
But you would see a cover letter as well as the entire pay app from us.
Okay. All right.
That would be a good idea.
That's the right way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the absolute right way to go, guys.
Yep. I agree.
And I have y'all loud and clear. Can y'all hear me? Did I just have a little internet blip?
Apparently, because we can hear you now.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
right. Yes, we can hear you.
Yep. Okay. All right. Any questions, comments on the tax assessor collectors report?
Nothing from me.
Okay. I'm guessing we've collected most of what we projected for the year. We have a few stragglers, but not a whole lot more to come in. So we are where we're at for the rest of the year. So with a little minor to come in. So, all right. If nobody else has any questions on that, review of the investments. Richard, I see you moved some money to the Texas class.
Yes, we get more interest there, so we moved it there.
Yeah, we get what point 222 or so.
Ooh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. So one of those big interest rates. So
right.
Okay. All right. Any questions on the investments report? All right. Payment of the district bills, which I'm guessing you guys are going to approve. Have you gotten Tom to where Tom can sign those checks yet, Richard? Or is it still me?
No, it's still you.
Okay. All right. I guess I need everybody to approve that we're going to allow me to sign the district's checks to pay the bills. So do I have a motion? Unless somebody else wants to do it. Well, I guess nobody else can because, Mark, what?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. All right. Mark's made a motion. Second. Okay. All right. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
John, aye.
Okay.
Tim, aye.
Okay. All right. Julie, aye. Okay. All right. Review the manager's report.
Okay. The manager's report is pretty normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary on it. All the plants are running fine. There's no issues with any of them. And
did you email it to us, Richard?
I can email those to you. Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering if I missed it. So
it's on the webpage. I know. Did it not get in the packets?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll email it to you.
Okay.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yep.
Well, sound you're back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I've been fighting a good fight over here. So. This is really the first technical issue I think I've had on a single one of these meetings. So.
Yeah, that's okay. So Richard, have we had anybody that due to the freeze needed to come in and ask for some extra? I don't want names. I mean, do we just have...
actually not a one.
Okay.
Not a one. They've all paid them.
Okay. All right. Good.
We're back to our normal shut off.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So you're good with your manager's report and your systems totals?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, since I can't look at anything, I guess. All right, pending business.
Julie, I've got a question, Julie,
Okay.
for pending business. I wanted to ask Paul if perhaps he could re-explain to the public and maybe even board members exactly the process for us getting this bond approved, selling bonds, using the bonds, how the whole process works in relation to the state making sure that we're doing the right thing.
And Tim, if I know Paul is pretty familiar with the process, but just as bond counsel, maybe if I could step in and talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So first, obviously the first necessary step in the process is to get the bonds authorized, right? If you don't have voted authority, you can't do anything. But once authorized, you authorize the engineer to begin preparation of the bond application. That takes a couple of months and is then submitted to the TCEQ. TCEQ has two forms of review. There is a standard review, which is a 6-month review process, during which there's back and forth questions with the reviewer, asking about projects, documents, all that kind of stuff. The application includes financial modeling, basic information about the district. I mean, a laundry list. It's a box full of information. There's also expedited form that can be submitted. That's about a 60-day review process. So once you go through that and are able to obtain approval from the TCEQ, they look at your financial ability to pay off the bonds. They look at the need for all the projects. They make sure the projects meet all the requirements. Then you can get a TCEQ order authorizing the district to sell the bonds. That order comes with specific conditions, and essentially you're only allowed to use those funds for the purposes which the TCEQ authorized, right? There are some limited exceptions where you can use leftover money for maintenance and repairs and certain kind of things that the TCEQ thinks are good, like plant upgrades or a construction of an interconnect or something like that. But for the most part, maintenance and repairs of existing facilities are all you can do with your leftover funds without actually going back to the TCEQ to get approval to change the project. So let's say you go and you get bond authorization to build a water plant and you decide you want to build a sewer plant. You have to submit a new application to the TCEQ to get approval for that project before you can use those funds on anything else. So once you get
we're not allowed to buy a Cadillac with any of that leftover money.
Exactly right. The proposition in the order calling the bond election does not allow for the use of that 25 million can only be used for water, sewer, or drainage purposes, right? Only for improvements to benefit the district. So, you can't go buy a Cadillac. You can't, go build a football stadium. You can't do anything other than improve water, sewer, or drainage service in the district.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the process.
Yeah. I want to add I think a very important point also, and maybe more for the public to hear, but just as a reminder for the board on this issue. The first principle is the bond authorization is not the bond expenditure or approval by the TCEQ or issuance. It's just like an ability to use a credit line, essentially. So if for example, if 25 million is approved, you don't have to issue a single cent of it. You could issue all of it. You could issue none of it. You could issue parts of it in stages, which is your engineer's current recommendation. But the only thing I would add, that was excellent description, Davis, is that it doesn't mean 25 will be issued no matter what. It will be issued as necessary only. And I think Lauren explained at the town hall, every time we do a new issuance, we will evaluate how much is really needed at that time. And it may be less and less, it may be a diminishing amount. So it's just important to know that we're not gonna, it isn't just a past the 25 million, now we're gonna go issue 25 million in debt and everybody has to pay taxes for that.
No, I think that's a good point, Paul. And this, kind of, we do our own feasibility analysis before we even get the engineer going on an application, right? So the way this process really starts is the engineer comes to the board and says, here are the projects that I think need to be done in the next, generally 2 years is what we would include in an application. And then we look at, in order to do those projects, how would we have to size the bond issue and what would the tax rate impact be? And so the board can really, basically dollar for dollar. Okay, if we decide we want to go repair this ditch or fix this collapsed storm sewer line or repair this water plant, this is exactly what it's going to do to our tax rate, right? And you will see a schedule to understand exactly what it's going to cost the board members and all of the other taxpayers in the district before you direct the engineer to proceed. Because there's no point in putting together a huge bond application for a bunch of projects that you're not going to do. You don't want to ask the TCEQ for authorization to go sell bonds that you don't want to sell.
Right. Good explanation. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. Do I have any other questions? Oh.
Is that helpful?
Julie,
Very.
Julie, good. Hey, Julie, can I say just one thing? I forgot.
Sure.
I know this is your pet peeve, but in March, the system totals, there was 0 over 50,000.
Yeah. Wait, in March. Wow.
Wow.
Great. That is my pet peeve. So.
And get this, there was 0 over 40,000.
How did that happen? Did their water get shut off during the freeze and never turned back on?
No. Well, production was way down too because it was cold, so nobody, they didn't use their sprinkler system.
Yeah,
But
you went and turned them off at the street for me, Richard, and they never turned them back on. I know. So
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
So,
I knew you'd like that one.
there you go. Thank you, people. Thank you, residents. So, okay. Anything else in?
Could I ask a question of Mr. Bonham? What's his charges? It seems like he's going to be with us for the life of the bond in terms of assisting with its administration. Is that part of the 20% that's on the bond proposal that's identified as 4 million out of the 25 million? Is that what is that the way the fee works? Because I see what the engineers propose. I see what, $6 million plus. Is 20% additional to that includes what we'd have to pay him besides the engineer? So I think some clarification on the total cost and how it break down with administrative versus engineering would be good.
But let me just say real quick, Mr. McElroy, that my fee is not 20%. The 20% is a round number that is used to estimate all of the costs associated with the issuance of the bonds. Typically, it is lower than that. And a large part of the driver of the cost of issuance in that percentage is whether or not we include what's called capitalized interest. And capitalized interest, Lauren can explain it as well. And Lauren, jump in if you think that I'm missing something. But is essentially including some money in the par amount of the bonds to seed your debt service account to avoid a large spike in the tax rate, right? So that you don't have to charge people, you know, $1,000 a year the first year so that you can generate an adequate debt service fund balance.
Make those first
have
couple of semi-annual debt service payments. That's right. Yeah, in cases such as River Plantation, where you don't have an existing debt service fund balance, and we included this in our projections, but it's I'll say again, in cases such as River Plantation, where you don't have an existing debt service fund balance, we would almost always include about 12 months of capitalized interest, which allows the district to make those first two, right, semi-annual payments, 12 months of capitalized interest, to make those first two debt service payments, and gives you time to, as Davis said, seed your debt.
So it's not a cost of issuance, it's money that's going back into the district's account.
Okay, I see that. I'm just, here again, it's administrative cost, not total your cost for sure. But the other aspect of it, the cost would be, what are the costs to the district specific for the additional burden they have of doing record keeping? Is that included in that administrative fee, or is that something above that the board would need to plan for in terms of additional personnel to support this effort of spending bond money?
So it's primarily an annual financial filing that consists mostly of the district's audit. I would say that absent any sort of material change in financial condition or disclosure requirement that was applicable, I would say that a reasonable estimate would be a few $100s a year.
Okay. Hey, Mr. McElroy, I also wanted to address something else you said a little bit ago, and Taylor and Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that 12% BAR fee, that also includes permits, design fees, things like that, correct?
No, that's all under the engineering, surveying, and inspection side of things, not the soft cost of the BAR. So that typically the financial advisor, the attorney, the attorney general, TCEQ review fees, capitalized interest. That's all part of the fees associated with submitting the bond itself.
Okay.
The cost to prepare the application,
correct,
is included in that.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the actual sale itself, right? So it's that is all the fees over the, call it 7 or 8 month process to actually sell the bonds. And those fees are on a percentage basis and are tied to the par amount of the bond, right? So if you only sell, $2 million in bonds, obviously the fees are commensurately lower.
They're gonna think you beat me.
Thank you for that clarification. Appreciate it.
Sure, of course.
Okay. I have one more thing in pending business if nobody else does. I think we talked about it last month. Oh no, actually, I think Preston talked about it last month at our regular meeting. Did y'all get copies of the letter that I received from Mr. Knapp from East Plantation? Did anybody get it, or is it just in my packet?
I think
Yeah, I got it. Everybody got a copy here.
Okay. All right. So, and I guess I'm going to ask Davis and Paul, do we need to address this issue with them, or do we just?
Which letter is it?
This is the letter from East Plantation demanding that they be included in negotiations and demanding that if we're going to outsource, they're going to only pay historical costs, which in my way of thinking, they're going to be paying more if they're going to be paying historical costs, but whatever. But the way I look at it is, if I own a business and you own a business and we own one piece of equipment together, you don't get to tell me how to run my business and I don't get to tell you how to run your business, except regarding that one piece of equipment. So if anybody, I don't know, do we need to discuss? Do we need to address it? Do we just let it go by the wayside? Do we?
Well, let me
Julie,
say.
well, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, Davis.
No, it's okay.
Okay, I'll go first. Julie, I think it's, from what I'm hearing, I think it's a little premature. We haven't made any decisions, and I think we're still in sort of what I'll call the informational gathering phase.
Right.
I do think it's going to end up being a cost savings for the district based on what I've seen so far. So I think that the letter is misguided because I think the cost is going to be decreasing. But until we know a little more, I think it's premature, and we ought to finish our investigation and see where we are, and then we can decide what to do about East Plantation.
Okay. Okay. All right. Mainly, I wanted Richard to put it in there so that everybody on the board was aware of the letter. So I want to be transparent, which is apparently the word of the year. So, okay.
Julie?
Any other? Yes.
Julie, this is Mark.
Yep.
I just got kicked off of the phone. I've missed like the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, okay. What was the
Can
last
you give me
thing
a
you
quick
heard?
synopsis?
Yeah. What was the last thing you heard?
Something about a letter.
Oh,
In the
okay.
packet.
So in the packet was a letter from East Plantation to
Yes.
myself. Okay. And what we've decided to do based, or what shouldn't say decided to do, but at this point, we've been advised not to do anything with that letter while we're still trying to gather information to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to proceed. But my analogy, I guess you could say, was if I own a business and you own a business and we own one piece of equipment together, that doesn't give you the right to tell me how to run my business, and it doesn't give me the right to tell you how to run your business. It only gives us the right to tell us how to run our business with that piece of equipment that we have in common. So anyway, that's so.
And RP is the operator of the plant.
Correct.
Right. So there's not a, I mean, I think it's reasonable for you to have, I think you should endeavor to have a good relationship with, your partners in the facility. But, you're the operator of the plant. So.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the last thing on the agenda, any other pending business before we go on?
Hey, I wanted to thank Richard for including the work orders in the packet. It's good to see what's going on during the month.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda is, well, before we, do we want to set the next date and time for the meeting is going to be, we have a conflict in May. And I will tell you, isn't that the 1, 2, 3, 4? That is the same night. And we have this problem every May. That is the same night as the annual meeting of the RPCIA where officers are elected and not officers are elected, board members are elected. So do we want to reschedule our meeting to the week before?
20th.
The 20th, or do we want to do it on the 26th or the 25th, or somebody pick a date? What was your comment, Richard?
I thought you had discussed about the 20th before because of that reason.
Did we discuss the 20th?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I remember you mentioned the 20th.
Okay, so the 20th, is that good with everybody?
Is everyone there? It's like,
I know, it's like talking to dead air. Is Tom there? Mark there?
Mark's here.
Okay.
My phone got muted by the system, and I had to go in and.
Yeah, I stay on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, my phone's been muted 5 times already. I had to keep coming back in on its own.
Okay. Has Gerard joined us yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
That should be fine.
Okay, so are we in agreement? Our next meeting is going to be moved 1 week earlier to May 20th instead of the 27th.
That's good.
Same time, right? 6:30?
6:30. Yep.
Okay, got it.
Okay. All right. Last item on the agenda is an executive session if necessary. I don't see where we need one. Does anybody have a reason for an executive session? Not only that, we don't have codes to get into one. So,
No.
Mr. Gerard, I just have a quick question. Do we have any update on the mediation that we could do in executive, or is it no change?
no change as far as I know. Do you have anything, Paul? Oh,
Hold on, sorry. Can y'all hear me?
yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but yeah.
Like I'm driving and I didn't want to. So, yeah, I mean, the only update is we're still working through the mechanics of the settlement. And I can say that in open session. That's no problem. That we're not there yet, but we're still making progress. But that it's still ongoing. So that's where we are on that.
Okay, yeah, if there's nothing to report, then no other reason. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mark will make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Tim, second.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Mark, aye.
Aye.
Okay. Julie, aye. So, all right. See you guys on May 20th. And hey,
Thank you, everyone.
okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye now. Thank y'all.